everybody, it is Liz with Liz Art Finds. I am coming to you today with another haul video. And if you missed my little short, I know we left off last week with the waiting on the key. The key got here. It works. I will show you again in case you did miss the short or in case you just want to see it again. Basically, he does not like swirl, but he does kind of march. Ready? So that's what he does. So anywho, he's already listed up on eBay if you are interested in purchasing him. And I will try to remember to put a link in the description down below for him. I've listed 3 things on eBay this week, getting better. I hadn't listed anything since May, so we're a little bit behind on the listing over on eBay. But on the positive side, I sold 4 things on eBay this week, and they're good things. So on eBay, first thing that sold was the Burlwood bookends. I had picked them up at Savers a while ago for $12.78 for the pair. They sold for full asking price of $95 for a profit after cost of goods and all the fees of $72.70. So that was good. I also sold this little biplane, I guess, made from LaCroix cans. Super cute little, kind of like a whirly gig, like you'd hang it outside and it would spin. I paid $2.99 for it. I took a best offer of $10 on it. My profit was $5.72, and I'm okay with that. Somebody hopefully got it for their little kid's room, and I think that's cool. The pickle forks from Norway. Now I've had these in my shop on eBay probably for a couple years. I had paid $2 for them, and I'm thinking that was down in North Carolina. Don't quote me on that. I paid $2 for them. They sold for $46. Profit of $36.83, so that was cool. And then I also sold my little Virginia Starbucks tumbler. I paid $3.99 for it, took a best offer of $16, and the profit on there was somewhere around 10-ish. Okay, and then I'm going to show you, I had my little glass extra show over on Niknax. I didn't sell a ton. It was a pretty small show. It wasn't part of a train, so it was just me, and it was at a time slot where there were a lot of other people doing things. So I sold 7 things, which I'm not mad about. So these are the things that sold. And the thing I'm most excited about, that David Booten vase, I had found that at a Goodwill, I want to say 2.5 years ago, like 2022 sometime. And it sat on eBay for a really long time. And I finally decided to pull it and show it over on Niknax. And it sold. So I was really excited about that. And then the beautiful Italian glass vase sold. And then the little pilgrim glass pitcher, which I just picked up recently. A pair of Lennox vases, the side and stricker bowl, and glass whale that I got recently. The biggest profit on that, the David Booten vase, was I paid $4.99 and got 24. And then the Italy vase, I had got that for 50 cents and it sold for 12. So I mean, you know, not huge profits. Most of these other things sold between $4 and $12. So my total, I wrote down somewhere, I didn't write down all the details on this, but my total sales on this show was $76. My profit on this show after cost of goods and fees and all of that was $40.56. Also over on Niknax, I sold this perfume bottle. I do have another one like it, but it's not listed anywhere yet. I paid $4.99. It sold for $16.20, profit of $10.18. So total profit for the week after fees, after shipping, after cost of goods, after all the things, my in-hand profit for that week was $177.43. Not bad. Again, this is my part-time gig. If I spend an hour a day on this business, that's something. I mean, very, 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 very busy with other stuff. So I'm very happy when we have some sales like that. So let's look at this week. Actually, before I do that, I did book another show on Niknax on the 24th of August. It's part of the Niknax Zoo train. I did get on, and I'm doing birds like I promised. And I've already started loading some things in. And I hope to have that show loaded out a full week before, so have everything in by the 17th if I can. And that way people will have a whole week to go in and pre-bid. So that is the current plan right now over on niknax.net. And I am Liz Art Finds over there. And if you search for me, you can find my show. If you look at live, the little live thing, it'll actually show my next upcoming live, and you can click on that and see all of the things that are listed in there. Right now I've only got like 8 things in there. All right, let's look at today's haul. It's all over the place, okay? So I got some really, really good stuff. We'll talk about one in particular. And I think it was from the second stop. So the first stop, I got this was on the second, I think. Yeah, we're gonna look at things I picked up, the rest of the things from the second and then from the 6th. So last week, this was at a thrift store. This is as I was coming back from picking up the auction stuff. I had made a few stops that we talked about last week, and then there were a few more stops because there was a lot of stuff that day. So this was just in one thrift store, and it was the only thing I picked up. And it's a pottery, like a plate and a cloche. It's signed Bristol here. At least I think that's what that says. I have not been able to find anything else by this artist at all yet. So I'm gonna post it on one of the pottery groups because it looks like someone who's a very prolific potter. This doesn't look like something that was just done by a student. The thing that's confusing me is the line across it, but it's a glaze line. Like you can see it on both sides. It's intentional. It's a white line that was put on in like a white glaze on top of all of the other design. So I don't know if the artist meant to divide it into 2 sections, maybe as a cheese platter, have one kind of cheese on this side and one on the other. I'm really not sure. And the top does not have that line. So it's a little bit confusing to me, but it's beautiful. And it was only $3.99. So I picked it up because I think it's probably worth 18 to 24 plus, right? If I find out who this artist is and it's someone famous, which is unlikely because I would have been able to find that otherwise, but you know, it could potentially be more. And if there's more than one person in an auction that really want it, it could go higher. I'll probably be putting this one on eBay. I'm not really sure, but just a gorgeous piece of studio pottery that I paid $3.99 for. Okay, so then my next stop was at Savers, and I want to show you this thing. This is like the best thing of the week. It's big, it's heavy, and you may recognize this because it's a very famous, I'm just doing this so you can actually see the design, a very famous design, right? And it's signed, and if you know Costa Boda, Sweden, you would recognize this as one of their tulips basically design. It was one of their most popular designs. Came in different colors. The artist is Ulrika Heidmann, and Valian as the last name. So she was Ulrika Heidmann. She married Bertil Valian in 1963 and was married to him for like 50 some years. She passed away in 2000 and something at 79 years old. I do have information on her, and this is such a beautiful picture. I love this picture. It's black and white. The other photos that I found, you know, this is a really cute one from the Costa Boda website, right? Hiding behind one of her pieces. But that black and white photo is just so beautiful. But there's so much information on her. So she was born in 1938. So the official bio of her basically just says she was immersed in a creative environment as a child. She pursued formal training at the University College of Arts, Crafts and Design in Stockholm. And I believe that she actually started in ceramics and then came to glasswork later in life. So let me just see. This one is a much longer, I'm not going to read it all, a much longer description on another part of the Costa Boda website. And what's really interesting is she was one of 50 artists chosen to create designs for British Airways, the tails of the aircraft. So that's kind of cool. So it says she became so popular and commercially successful as a glass artist that it had a negative impact on her reputation among the elite in the art world because she was doing so much commercial stuff with Costa Boda. After her passing, that shifted a little bit and she became more critically acclaimed within the glass world, which is really interesting. And they did a huge retrospective in Stockholm in 2020. And it was on TV and it was kind of all over the place and, you know, just kind of recognizing her artistry and her work. So that's kind of cool. So she met her husband, Bertil Valian, at university. And after they graduated, it says they began their artistic careers as radical ceramic artists in the US, traveling around the United States and Mexico on artistic field trips. Bertil was offered a position as an artist at the Afors Glasswork in 1963. They moved back. So they were in Sweden. They worked side by side for half a century, which is just mind-blowing to me. He is still alive as far as I know in his late 80s, 90s. I think late 80s. And then a funny little anecdote, they said that the first bowl that she designed at Costa Boda had rats on it. It was called the Rat Bowl. And Costa Boda, the executives were like, no. And so that one didn't actually go into production, which I think is kind of cool. The Tulips Bowl, or the Tulips line, was basically, like I said, the most commercially successful. So in 1991, so actually it says her major success came in 1986 when she launched Open Minds and Caramba, two of the top selling popular collections that became classics. In 1991, she launched Tulipa, which took her popularity to the next level, making her too popular for her own good, according to some, it says. Tulipa is the most sold glass collection ever in the world. That's wow. And then it says when the demand for that collection was at its peak worldwide, she alone was responsible for employing about 20 decoration painters at Costa Boda. So that's really cool, right? So, you know, it's kind of an important piece. Granted, is it one in a million? No. Is it one of a kind? No. There were a bazillion of these, but it still has value. And it is signed UHV and then a slash, and then it says like AA or A. I'm not sure if that's the initials of the painter that actually painted this, the production painter. That's probably what that stands for. So anyway, just a beautiful piece. This is the 13-inch platter. There are a couple little surface marks that I will be disclosing on that, but the solds on these are really good. So I'm gonna call it 30 to 50. I only looked for solds on the white ones, the white tulips. There are a ton of blue and red, not so many of the white ones. And they were in the 30 range to a lot at the 45 to 49 range. So I'm just calling it 30 to 50 on that, okay? So that was really exciting. And then I found a couple of glass bottles that may or may not have any value at all, okay? So hear me out. And they're different, similar but different. And there's a company in Florida that makes glass bottles similar to these right now and sells them for people to fill with their own liqueur. That means, and these aren't exactly like the ones, like they're different. They're similar but different. So do I think they made these two bottles? I don't think so. But these were made by a company for another company to fill with liqueur. Now, the easiest one to talk about is this one, because this one, there is some stuff online. Plus, there's also some remnants of stuff inside. I believe this was used for cherry brandy, possibly in France. I did see pictures of bottles that looked just like this, that had a seal over the top and then a little, like a label. And it was eau de vie, which is translated exactly means water of life. But I looked that up and it basically is what they use to talk about brandy. So it was a cherry brandy, okay? The bottle's so cool because it's got like, the bottle itself has an indentation here that's, you know, blown or molded, I'm not sure, into the glass. And then these glass cherries are affixed inside that little indentation. So it's a cool bottle, okay? I paid $3.99 for this bottle. I have no idea how much it's worth. I'm just gonna guess 8 to 12. These are things I might try to sell in a glass auction. I'm just not sure. I don't have enough information about them yet. And I keep saying them because there's another one. Now this one's bigger, okay? And this one has a different lid. The cork on the other one was just a flat cork. This is a cork, but it also has a blown glass bubble thing. This one has a heart. Now it's a very similar style. Instead of like the cherries seem to be affixed directly to the glass, this has a little stem coming out that the heart is affixed to. So this is 3D. It's going to be hard to see, but it's got glass in there. I cannot find this bottle. I cannot, from lens searches and, you know, putting words in and all the things, I can't find it. But it is very similar to the other. My guess is they probably came from the same place. It's very possible that someone was traveling in France and I don't know, could they even bring liquor back? I don't know, but I don't know. And I hate not knowing. And I wish I could tell you more. But I paid a little less on this one, $3.59. And again, I'm going to call it 8 to 12. It is possibly worth more than that. But it's best to estimate conservatively so I'm not misleading you guys. The next thing I picked up was a commercial mug. This is the Marauders Map mug. Okay, it's a Harry Potter thing. New with tags. Okay, from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. These guys, new with tags, they sell for $35, okay? So I paid $3.19. The ones without labels and tags are in the 18 to 24. I would say this has not been through a dishwasher yet. I don't think it's been washed by hand. I don't think it's been used. So the new with tags, consistently $35. So I definitely picked that up. Definitely keep on the lookout for the, you know, the popular, the Universal Studios, the Disney stuff, and just kind of do a lens search and look at the solds and see, you know, just see. So I checked that one out. It's a good size mug. It's hefty. We'll see. Okay, then I found this sculpture, and this one is a little baffling to me. It's clearly studio pottery, okay? It is clearly handmade, okay? There's no signature anywhere. And the thing that was interesting about this is there was glue on a couple of the spots down here. So is it possible that there was a male figure as well and that they were on some sort of a base that they were glued to? Anything's possible, right? I did lens search her. I don't see anything even close. So I do think she's a studio piece. I do think she's one of a kind. She's incredibly well done. I wish I knew the artist. So I don't have a lot to offer on her either. So I apologize for that. I paid $4.79 for her. I'm gonna call her 24 plus on the value. That will depend where I list it, how I list it, etc. So it might be 18 to 24, but she's beautiful. There's no cracks, there's no chips, there's nothing broken, there's nothing else going on here. Just this beautiful lady with her beautiful dress and tennis racket. Not exactly dressed to play tennis, so I don't know. Maybe she's holding the tennis racket for a friend. I don't know. We could make up all kinds of stories about her, right? But anyway, she's beautiful. I picked her up. So, and then the last thing I picked up at Savers was a baggie. And I paid up. I paid $6.39 for the baggie. However, it contained like 12 things. And each thing, all right, this is going to be hard because they're all little things. They're like lots of little dogs. So I'm going to just do this with the doggies. We've got some resin, we've got some ceramic, we've got, this one is like a clay composite, like a, I don't even know, it's like a composite resin type thing. I've got two that are pewter, and these are worth a little bit more, although this guy's worth about $7, little pewter dude. This pewter dude may be worth a little bit more, okay, and I got 3 more dogs. Okay, so it's all these dogs. It's like, there's a lot of dogs. I'm not going to show you every single one. There's a lot of dogs. There was a Mexican pottery couple. What I love about this is his hat is not pottery. It's like fabric or something. So it's kind of like floppy, which is fun. So she's got a little tambourine. He's on a horse, she's dancing, so I got them. That was in the same baggie. I got these two. These seem to be molds that you would use to like put footprints in sand. That's what I think they're for, or clay or something. And then there were these 2 little birds. The Joseph Originals is just adorable. He does have some breakage on the flower. And then this one is a little resin bird, and he's fairly new. There's not a lot of value in him, but anyway, let's assume each of those pieces is $4 value, right? Some of them are worth 7, 8, possibly even 12. Some of them were worth 2 to 4, but let's just average. Say they're worth $4 each. Say there's 12 saleable units there at $4. That's $48, right? And I paid $6.39. So I think it was a good pickup. I think there are shows that I do live sales that are miniatures, and those will be saved for the next time I do a miniature show, which will probably be late in the fall. I mean, they're easy to store, they're tiny, so I'm probably going to hold those for a bit. I may run these 2 birds during my bird show, depending on how many other birds I have and timing and whatnot. So that's that. Then I ran over to one more stop before I came home, and I found 3 things. This was on the 2nd, still Sunday. 3 more things. My favorite, and it actually has some value this time. You guys have seen me pick up like so many DeMott things, right? So I've got 3 boats, sailboats, 2 DeMott, 1 somebody else. I've got the one that's like the bench with the flowers and whatnot. That one has a bird on the fence, so I'm gonna run that one in my bird show. This one is a plane. What's great about this is it's got insane sell-through. I think it's like 4 listed, 4 sold, so 100% sell-through rate, and the solds on these are right at 45. So I'm excited. It's in great condition. I'll try to get that one listed this week because it's got the fast sell-through. It's got a good price. I like to get those higher priced things up as soon as I can. I paid $3.99 for it. And like I said, 35 to 45. There was one that was low, so that's why I put the range in there. But yeah, I think 45 every day on that one. So that's really exciting. So I found that. I found this little Native American, no I didn't, that was at a different place. So hold on that for a second. I found this Medina glass seahorse. Now this is not signed, which is weird. I've seen some online that are pretty much the exact same thing that are signed Medina, M-D-I-N-A. oh gosh, and I'm forgetting where they're from. I want to say Malta. It's it's escaping me right now. It's an island in the Mediterranean area, I believe. Medina Glass, M''Dina. That is the attribution on this. They don't sell for a ton. I picked it up for $1.99. They sell 18 to 24. There was one that sold for 45. So I'm assuming that one was signed, because I think 18 to 24 are probably on the unsigned. Okay. And then the last thing I picked up there was this little votive holder covered with polymer clay. So I'm going to show you the butt first, right? That's the tail. Those are the sides. And look at that face. So it is just a votive holder. It's a glass piece that someone applied polymer clay to the outside, but apparently a skilled artist. It's a gorgeous piece. He does have a little chip on one ear that I didn't realize, of course, until I got home. So that may affect the value a little bit. I paid $1.99. In perfect condition, these sell 12 to 15. I didn't see anything with the 3D face on it, so I'm just guessing. And I would put him, because of his little chip, I'd put him at 8 to 12. But if he goes to an auction, he could go higher. So I haven't decided yet during my bird show if I'm going to have, in my buy it nows, have just birds or have other animals as well for people to shop while they're at the auction. So I have to think that through a little bit. Anyway, then I went out after work on the 6th, and I went to 2 places. That is where I found, the first place I found this little native bud vase, and I love it. It's signed at the bottom, T.C. Gonza, Mexico. Okay, now I told you I've been gathering a bunch of native pottery, and I'm probably going to do a Native and South American pottery show sometime in the fall. However, we have an event coming up on Niknax in September, if I can get in, that will be, it's called the signature event. And so everything that we're selling has to have a signature. And this is exactly the kind of thing that would do very well in a show like that. It is signed, it is native, it is beautiful, it is small. So I may save that for that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, paid $1.99 for it. Nope. I paid 99 cents for it. Skipping ahead here. I paid 99 cents for it, and the value is in the 8 to 12 range on that. Okay. Then I found some wind chimes, or like wind whirly thing. I'm probably going to keep for myself. This I thought was an art piece, and apparently it is mass produced. Okay, so these were sold at Lowe's back in the day. I don't have a value on it. It's recycled glass and a very thin metal sheet, but it is mass produced. And the company was called Garden Treasures. So I don't think there's a ton of resale value on this piece. And I do have a need for something like this on my back patio. I have a little hook thing exactly for wind chimes, and the thing I had there before blew away in a very bad storm and broke. So I may just keep this one. I paid $3.99 for it. I think the resale value is probably in the 8 to 12 range, but like I said, I'm probably going to keep that. And then I found this bowl. Now, you guys might recognize this if you've been with me for a bit. We've had this artist before, and it's very, very recognizable work, okay? The artist, her name is Jane Avery, Jayn. She lives in Floyd, Virginia, which is probably why I'm seeing so much of her stuff here. That's probably a couple hours from me. She uses antique lace to press designs into her pottery. So it's a very unique style. And because they're antique lace, they're not designs you're going to find, just anywhere. And then she makes slabs, right? She rolls her pottery out. She impresses them, and then she attaches them. You can see she just pushes the slab together and just makes like what almost looks like buttons. We've sold like a chalice, like a mead mug already from her. And I also have a butter holder, like a butter dish, I believe currently up on eBay. So this is that, and I'm going to show you the bottom and I'll show you the inside. So you can see very clearly that signature. It's basically a heron. Okay, so that would be the beak, and the eye is over there, the tail is here. So it's kind of a very rough, loose, abstract heron design. That is her signature. Okay, this one also has something else at the bottom. I don't know what that is or what that says. At first I thought it was just waves, but I think it might be a different signature. Maybe it was someone she had in the studio helping out. I'm not sure. But it's definitely Jane Avery Blue Heron Pottery, Floyd, Virginia. Okay, so this is the inside. It's kind of like a casserole dish maybe. It's got the buttons on two sides. So you can see that it's made with 2 slabs plus the base. And then the inside is glazed, and then there's like a ruffle around the top. I think this is kind of almost a prototype, like an earlier piece. If you go to her website, she's got this really cool design now where the bottom is rounded. So it's almost like a bag, and then the top kind of bends over a little more, and it's glazed the same way with the inside and then over the edges. I should have pulled a picture of that, and I did not. So it's like a pouch, right? It's like this way, and then just kind of cinched a little bit and comes out. And that one she's using as a planter. I don't know if this would work as a planter. I think it's more of a casserole dish or a serving bowl or something like that. Okay, so anyway, I paid $3.99 for the piece. I've got it marked as 18 to 24. Could be more. I don't think it would be less than 18. It's a nice piece of studio pottery. I mean, you know, if you're buying these things new, they're in the 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, they're not $18. So at least I don't think they are. I haven't checked her site lately. She sells through galleries in Floyd. Okay, so let me just move on to my last spot and my biggest high and lowest low all in one day. And I may insert in here if I can figure out how. And if you don't see it, then I couldn't figure out how. The video, because I actually took a little video clip in my car outside the store when I picked this piece up. Okay, so I'm going to show you the piece. Okay, so this, and pay attention to this because this is, it's something you should know. Okay, so this is every year, this company does a new what they call Christmas jar. Okay, this one has a little critter on it. The company is Royal Copenhagen. Okay, and it's fine porcelain. And I don't know what year this is exactly. When I picked it up, there was masking tape holding the lid to the jar. Okay. I looked, I lifted up the masking tape, I opened it up, I examined the inside for chips and cracks, and I saw none. And I was so excited because these sell 70-ish, and I paid $4.99 for it. So in perfect condition, they sell 70 to like 100. There's some that sold for 99. Now, I don't know if it just, you know, if that depends on the images, because there was one that had a snowman on it, otherwise looked very similar, and that is the one that was the $99 one. This one, I don't see a snowman. I see other things hanging from it. However, when I got home and I took the tape off and I started washing it, I went, oh no! Let me show you something. It's very sad. So I don't know if you can see, oh, you may not be able to see it on here. There is a seam around here where someone very carefully glued this back together. This top was basically 3 separate pieces. And on top of that, there are a couple divots in there that I thought were part of the design. You're not gonna be able to see them, darn it. Oh, you can see that one. Because they were right opposite each other, I thought they were part of the design. Under the loop, there are actual chunks of porcelain missing. Okay, so broken, hidden by a piece of tape. And if I have the opportunity, like I said, I will insert, because I held up the jar in the little video clip when it had the tape on it, and I'm showing it to the camera, and you literally cannot see that there's anything wrong with it. Hey everybody, it's Liz with Liz Art Finds. I have to share this because it's really exciting. So I just got, for $4.99, this Royal Copenhagen Christmas jar. Okay, it's in excellent condition. It has masking tape on the top, which I don't really want to take off right now, but I checked it in the store. Excellent condition, Royal Copenhagen, and the last solds are right at $70. So now this looks a little more obvious now, because I was kind of playing with it with my fingernail and taking off the extra glue, and so that did kind of make it a little bit darker than what it was before. Gosh, I wish you could see this. Let's see, I'm going to try to make it, darn. Well, anyway, there's a seam all the way around, and then another one from top to down. And then if you look at it under the loop, it also looks like that whole entire piece, because I said there were two little divots, this whole entire knob may have come off altogether and been glued down. So they did a very nice job of putting it back together, but it's not worth $79. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to try to sell just the bottom without the top, in case someone breaks their canister and happens to have their lid intact. That is one potential way to do it. The other way is to sell the whole thing and disclose. You have to write as is in your description, like in your title, and then, you know, talk about why in your description. You have to disclose any issues like that. But oh my gosh, it was this, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a bazillionaire. I mean, not so much, but you know, $75, $4.99 into $75 would have been fantastic. And like I said, and then the biggest disappointment. So anyway, there was that. And then I found a couple little dishes. So this is a little grater zester. And this is something that I never knew existed. And now that I know that they exist, I see them everywhere. So it's got like little sharp edges in here that you would grate your ginger or zest your lemons or limes. So that's kind of cool. This one was made in Spain. It says Hecho a Mano, Spain, España, so it's made in Spain. It's in mostly good condition. I mean, it's definitely got some age. It doesn't look like I cleaned this one yet. So I need to try to clean some of the marks off the bottom. But I paid 99 cents for this. They're worth 8 to 15, 14, something like that. And then the other piece I found is this beautiful little ashtray, or little, it kind of almost looks like ikebana, like something you would put like a little bonsai in or something, you know, or little, what do you call it? Succulent, you know. I believe its original intent was ashtray. It is signed. I'm not sure where that is. It says Casse, maybe? Triana. May also be Spain or Italy. I need to do some looking around on this one. I did not find anything like it. I think it's really cool. So I paid 99 cents. I think it's worth 8 to 14. So my total spend this week was only $56.24, which is great. The value is around $273, which is like 4.8x, almost 5x, which is really good. So we'll see how that goes. And again, that counts like, I don't know, maybe $15 or $14 for the canister. It just doesn't really account much for it. So anywho, let me just double check to make sure that's right. I think it is. Okay, so that's where we are this week. I will be back next week with another haul video. I'll be loading up my show for birds, if you are a bird person. I've got some nice glass birds. I've got a beautiful Fenton bird, which I'm sure you guys have seen because I've shown it. And just the various birds I've been collecting, you know, for a bird show. Yeah, So the description below has all the info. Thanks so much for being here. If you love anything that you saw today and you want to have it, please message me. The easiest way is to message me on Niknax, or you can message me on Facebook, or I'm not sure how the messaging works on YouTube. I guess you would comment with a way to reach you or something. Yeah, and I will eventually be getting things up either on Niknax or eBay. And yeah, I think that's all. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a wonderful week. We'll see you soon. Bye.